Guys, there's a situation unfolding right now as I do this video. The ports are basically empty here in the United States. I'm going to show you guys all the ports. There's no ships waiting to be unloaded. That's going to mean a decrease in supplies, as you can clearly see by that photo I just shared. Shelves are clearing out, and nobody's really talking about another situation. Hospitals are closing. Recession warning? I would say at the very least. Starting off over here at gcaptain.com, talking about the tariff plan. They go on to say that the current trade dispute has escalated dramatically in recent weeks. And I want to show you guys something. There's several articles talking about the trade issues with China and the United States, but they're not talking about the elephant in the room. Let me show you what's going on with regard to the ports, not only on the West Coast, but the East Coast as well. We're looking at the ports over here in Boston. The green dots and green ships represent cargo ships that are waiting to be unloaded. There's none. Zero here in Boston waiting to be unloaded. I have a video that I want to share with you guys from a gentleman out of Boston who's talking about this very situation. Check this out.
Not just the West Coast ports, it's the East Coast ports too. This one's in Boston. This is well under half the normal volume that you normally see at this port as far as containers go. It's gonna hit us soon. Everybody gotta get ready. This is gonna get bad.
And unfortunately, that man is absolutely correct. Here's a look at Long Beach. This is the busiest port in the United States. Once again, the green dots represent cargo ships. There's two out here sitting off the shore of Long Beach. These are bulk carriers. What these carry are things like sand and raw materials that are in bulk, not necessarily something that you're going to buy on the shelf of a store. The red dots represent crude oil ships. I'll show you guys one right there. Crude oil tanker. So there's a few crude oil tankers sitting out here waiting to be unloaded. Again, like Boston, there's a few ships in here being unloaded that have already been in here. And once those are done, there's no other ships out here waiting to be unloaded. Going up to San Francisco, same situation. There's no ships out here waiting to be unloaded. There's a few inside the San Francisco Bay. But again, like Long Beach, these aren't cargo containers. These are bulk carriers carrying bulk goods. Going from San Francisco up to Seattle, same situation. There's no ships being unloaded, and basically there's no ships inside the port of Seattle. The green dots that you see are bulk carrier ships. There was one I saw yesterday that was carrying cars, but it was headed up to Vancouver. So not much going on with regard to trade over in China. So we've looked at the ports over here in the U.S., at least some of them. The Long Beach one is the busiest one in America. Let's go over to Asia and see what their ports look like. Up here in Shanghai, remember, the green are cargo ships. Look at that. They're everywhere. Going inland, just full. Green cargo ships everywhere. Keep in mind, China has a population of over 1 billion people. They not only supply America with goods, they supply the rest of the world. Going down the coast, once again, all of the green are cargo ships. Going down here to the Hong Kong port, look at all the green. Cargo ships everywhere. So according to this map, it doesn't look like business has slowed down at all over in Asia. And then coming back to the ports over here in the U.S., they look like ghost towns compared to the ports over there in Asia. So it's obviously not impacting China much. Remember, China has a population of 1 billion people. They have all the factories already set up on their mainland. What would be their incentive to bring their factories over here to the U.S. for 300 million customers when they supply a large portion of the entire world? You just saw over there, their ports are swarming with cargo ships, and we have zero here waiting to be unloaded. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on here. Supply is going to get low, demand is going to remain high, prices are going to get higher, prices are already high enough. And I can remember back in 2020, there was an interruption in the flow of goods. The supply chain was interrupted. Back then, it wasn't because of a lack of ships like we see now. There were ships everywhere out here waiting to be unloaded. They just couldn't get unloaded because the longshoremen couldn't go to work. Once the longshoremen got back to work, they started unloading ships, and then supply slowly built back up. Right now, that's not the case. So guys, moving forward, we're going to have to be smart. Things are going to get more expensive. We're going to have to be resourceful and think outside the box. Because again, there's no ships out here waiting to be unloaded. Zero supplies coming in.
The busiest in the Western Hemisphere. But now it's preparing for a dramatic slowdown. With a 145% tariff, a container of Chinese goods worth $100,000 will now cost importers an extra $145,000.
Shelves will be bare. We won't be able to buy as much online.
And that was a report from Long Beach right here. Again, no ships anywhere in sight, guys, waiting to be unloaded. And another thing that's going on that's quite bizarre, 700 plus rural hospitals at risk of closing. Have you guys heard about the hospitals that have already closed? There have been 10 closures already in 2025. What's going on? One of the many challenges that's going on is broken supply chains, workforce shortages, and things like that. So we're already seeing supply chains right now in the United States in extreme chaos right now, and another 700 plus rural hospitals at risk of closing. This article dated March 17th of 2025 goes on to say about 768 rural hospitals in the U.S. are at risk of closing, 315 at immediate risk. Again, this article is dated March of this year. So a country that's thriving doesn't have hospitals that are closing by the dozens each year, looking at possibly 700 closing here very soon. We don't have ports that are sitting empty with no cargo shipments coming in anytime in the near future. That's going to create inflation. That's not the sign of a country that's thriving. That's the sign of a country that's headed towards a recession. And again, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Guys, we're going to have to be smart navigating through these waters. I would stock up on a few things. By no means go out and panic buy. Don't do that. But keep a little bit of cash at home just in case. But I would consider, while the opportunity is available right now, picking up a few extra things just in case, because what things are available are only going to get more expensive before they potentially run completely out. This is not a good scenario. It's really not. And again, it doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. Coming over here to the homepage of the website, today's feature photo was sent in by Chris out of Fort Erie, Canada. Get a load of that sky, would you? Looked like the sky was getting ready to land on the lake. Incredible photo. And looking at the planetary K index, the yellow vertical columns represent a minor geomagnetic storm. And here's what the skies looked like last night during the geomagnetic storm. Photos by Karina out of Alberta, Canada, and Joseph A. Still out of Montana. Awesome photos, guys. Thanks for sharing. Keep them coming. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. If you guys have any videos you'd like to share that are too large to attach to the email, come over here to the homepage of the website. Look for this red tab that says Have a Large Video. It's a Dropbox. Drag and drop your videos into the Dropbox. Please include your first name, date, and location, and I'll take it from there. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.